Could you briefly introduce yourself, where you're coming from, and what's your field of study?
I'm Svetlana Jitomirskaya. I work at UC Berkeley, and I study mathematical physics, spectral theory equations in mathematical physics.
And what brings you here?
This epoch AI. No, I am very fascinated by what I can do in mathematics. I'm a little worried whether it will put us out of work, and I came here to kind of try to find out what's going on, the latest, and to maybe contribute to this big thing.
Is your problem submission for this event also in mathematical physics?
It is related, yes.
In broad strokes, could you describe the problem?
It is kind of related to interplay of number theory and some questions of spectral theory of mathematical physics. It has to do with some effects that happen at very, very large scales. So I think it is something that machine would need to really know to really argue. It would not be able to approximate, it would not be able to compute. So in order to solve my problem, machine would really need to argue in a way that is not even written in any paper, also maybe understood by some people in the field.
Mm-hmm. If you took an army of grad students and gave them this problem.
Oh, yeah, this problem would be solved without that much difficulty, maybe with some computation by a student knowledgeable in the subject. That is the point. Actually, it is not a very difficult problem for someone who has certain knowledge, but this knowledge is not widespread. This knowledge is not in the literature. This is kind of a little bit of a folklore knowledge.
Mm-hmm. And would you be surprised if a system was able to?
I'll be very surprised. We have just tested easier versions and it had no clue. Also, it tried to pretend it had solved it, but
as they always do. Yeah. When would you expect, like if you had to guess, how long will your problem withstand the test of AI?
I hope forever. No, I'm not that optimistic, actually. I am slowly coming to terms that AI may end up being smarter than every human, right, in every sense. So that may happen.
Do you use it in your research at all?
Haven't been using it much in my research, but because I so far haven't used the strong versions, but just today I saw something that quite amazed me. He used this homini high to help me create a problem. And there was some part that I was kind of lazy to do in advance because it required lengthy computations and not just computations, but sort of arguments. And it did it like momentarily. I was so impressed today.
Do you think you'll use it more?
Yes, I'll be now using it a lot.
Do you expect just the field of math to change, or how are we?
Yes. I expect this will lead to big improvements. This may lead to the fact that there will be fewer mathematicians. What will now probably happen is that you get a certain paper that is kind of done by analogy, and you just ask this question to GPT, and maybe it does it. Right? And then the paper is not very interesting. I think this will arrive. So the work of mathematicians will become kind of more creative, as there will be less time spent on routine because this would be able to delegate it to the machines. Right, and kind of, I think it will become even more exciting.
What does it take to get good at the creative parts of math? Or do you think AI might learn that part of it?
When I learned it, I think it will be, I don't know what will be left for humans, right? But so far, I don't see it. So it's still okay. At least the current AIs, language learning models, I was kind of proven wrong. I always thought that they were just regurgitating, but they developed logic right now. And actually, the idea is, in retrospect, quite simple, right? If you train them on summarizing things, they just extrapolate the key ideas, right? But how do you train them on being creative? I don't know. I have no idea about human creativity, where it comes from. We can develop good intuition from like 2 or 3 examples. We immediately see abstract pattern, and not even patterns, but the ability to think abstractly, right? This kind of it's very hard for me to imagine how would AI try something that nobody has tried, right? And that's creativity. But who knows?
What are your biggest hopes and worries when it comes to AI in math and otherwise?
My biggest hope is that lean is developed in such a way that actually everything, all the math papers will be immediately verifiable, because it's clear that most math papers have some errors, and some of them can be minor, but some can be not so minor, right? And my biggest hope, and I think it's not too far off in time, is that actually all the mathematics will be put in the verified database, this lean database. And when you submit a paper to journal, you need to prove that it was lean verified, right? And then at least it will, of course, remove a lot of work from the referees to verify correctness. Machine will verify that, right? And referees will only say whether it's interesting or not. All right. So I hope this period comes before the work of mathematicians become obsolete because of AI. Actually, Sergey have been saying that leans, the translator to lean, so there is like a couple of years away only, automatic translator. And once it happens, it will, because currently the biggest bottleneck is translating written text into lean, right? Translating a paper, an argument into lean, it takes like 7 times the time to type it in tech or something. Right? And nobody wants to do it, and that's. But if there is an automatic translator, everything will be automatically translated into lean. Whatever is verifiable will be verified. Everything, it will change.
If AIs were to prove something important, say resolve the Riemann hypothesis, right? And then verify it fully through lean so that we all knew it's correct. But then the proof would not be accessible to any human. Is this still valuable? Is this math?
It's a different kind of math. So there already exist computer assisted proofs, which is kind of similar, right? humans cannot verify it without another machine, right? But we accept it. So this would be in a similar category, right? So it is math, definitely, but like computer-assisted proofs are in a different categories than so-called proof from the book, right? Proofs that conveys the beauty of math. Computer-assisted proofs, not quite, right? Even though they may have elements of conveying the beauty, right? It would be similar probably to this, right?
Do you expect the Riemann hypothesis with the help of AI?
Not in my lifetime.
Do you have any advice for new math students in the age of AI?
I think it's important to learn the fundamentals the old-fashioned way, but use it like people used computer for computer experimentation, right? So you know what the experiment is, but computer can do it for you faster and with large numbers and so forth. So use AI kind of similarly in some sense. Make it your friend and helper, right? But not an enemy of your development.
How long do you expect until AI solve your problem?
More than 10 years, maybe 20.
Because that's the largest number I've heard so far. And then how much will AI change math research on a scale from 0 to 10, where 0 is the level of a pocket calculator and 10 is human mathematicians are
obsolete?
Yep.
5.
And then how much will AI change the world, where 0 is once again the level of a pocket calculator and 10 is the Industrial Revolution, even more?
9.
I agree. And then if you have an extremely capable AI assistant that can do all the math, like even the creative parts for you instantly, do you keep doing math?
That's a tough one. So you see, people keep playing chess, for example, right? So math may become something like sports chess because, like, yeah, we are also running, even though there are other species faster than us in machine, and cars can go faster than us in bicycles, but we keep running, right? And you see, math is infinite, right? You can always create some model, some world where this will stay, right? But then once you've formulated things, AI will be able to do to answer your questions, right? But maybe it will transform into actually formulating new models or whatnot. I don't know. It depends. Again, whatever I can think of, kind of ostensibly, AI can also learn to do that, right? But it may keep adding levels at the levels of what it does, right? So if math will become creating new models, then maybe I will learn to do that. Then math may become something like creating models that create new models or whatnot, right? So
What's your outlook, attitude towards AI progress, where 0 is you would stop it entirely if you could, and then 10 is, accelerate as the fastest possible pace?
yeah, of course, there should be safeguards, presumably, but maybe like 8. I'm kind of an optimist. I believe in progress.